food that cannot be broken down. That's why the food would stay certain places in the body. Sometimes all of these juices that we give it can't break it down as much as we would like to, because we were not made to eat certain food that people like to eat. Yes, and some of these foods don't give us no nutrients. It just gives you, it gives your liver work to do. It gives your bile, the bile coming from it, work to do. It gives your pancreas work to do. It gives your stomach work to do, the esophagus work to do, all the muscles in the intestines work to do, and the food hardly has any nutrients in it. You understand? That's why we should eat good food with good nutrients and vitamins and green leafy vegetables and a lot of fruits and coconut water. These are the food that were made for the digestive system. Good. So now, when the food now has been, the nutrients has been absorbed, we're going into the large intestine now, where the food, it's going to become feces, the remains of it, I should say, and of course it will come out, and that's what ends up in the toilet. Good, I hope you understand that.
The main role of the large intestine is to absorb water, nutrients and salts, and convert waste products into a more solid form that can be excreted from the body as feces.
What happens is that the large intestine also absorbs, but it absorbs water, the remaining nutrients and salt, and creates what we know as feces, again, ready to be kicked out. Good.
The colon ends in the rectum and anal canal. By this time, water has been absorbed and the feces are ready to be expelled from the body through the anus.
You understand? So the colon ends in the rectum and the anus, and as all the nutrients is being absorbed into the body, and the water and the salts are being absorbed, then you create, what is created is the feces, and again that comes out into the toilet. Okay, so this is the whole process. If you look at it back way, all the way to the mouth where the apple was broken up, and then it became what it became. Very good. So we have a very good idea, my scholars. If you didn't know before, you have a good idea now of exactly how the digestive system
blessed
works,
love, family, blessed
and what
love. Give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie the First. Of course, you know, I'm just keeping the joy, you know, because this is when I'm in the mode of speaking to my young scholars. Yes, what you are observing there is just a small clip of one of our biology programs, one of our biology classes. And I hope to some of you this isn't too gross. Yes, as you can see, you're right inside of the digestive system. And that is what we do, my family, for the young minds. We make sure we bring it to them as realistic as we can bring it to them, as animated as we can bring it to them, as colorful, but yet still we have the core information, you know. Remember, when your young ones get these classes, they also get their worksheets. They're going to get their assignments, nothing too heavy, nothing too hard, you know, and for sure, family, your young ones will come out of this a better them. Let's put it that way. So that was just a preview. And remember, you can contact me and get this whole video or get any one of the classes you desire. Biology, astronomy, African history, just ask for a sample. And we'll send you one of the many classes that we have. So yourself and even your young ones, you could both sit down and get a vibes, and you know exactly what you're getting even before you order the program, the International Homeschool Program. Yeah, family, we want to talk about, you know, Abraham and Melchizedek right now. So while I light my challah, just give me a moment here. Oh, yes, blessed love, of course, celebrating the young minds and the young ones. So, yes, family, you don't know how it is in a man. We're giving thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Give thanks to this wonderful and blessed day. Of course, you know, it is a heart of celebration. And give thanks continually, of course, for the life giver and the keeper of life. And this is the moment we're talking about the 21st day of April. And we're talking about Abraham meeting Melchizedek. We're just gonna, you know, take a few moments to speak of that specifically about the Abraham and the Melchizedek. Of course, ones have been asking that question. I honestly think that I've touched upon this like a program for itself. I know I've spoken about it like a program for itself on the YouTube, but there's so many videos there, sometimes I can't even directly recall what we've touched upon. But you see, I come to realize that you have new people coming in every day. Every day, I mean, what's our average? I think, just to be straight, you know, I think we get at least, for now, on any given day, maybe an average of 30 or whatever subscribers per day, straight up, you know. And so there are always new people coming in, and is not everybody in the mood to go back and watch no old video. You could be telling them, yeah, man, check this video I did 6 years ago. That has all the answers there. Check the video we did even last month. No, man, they're waiting for the new thing to come up, especially when you're bringing out videos every day and maybe several times a day. I mean, wow, when you're going to give somebody a chance to go and check the old videos. So I could understand the feeling. And I think the query is a genuine query. You know, ones want to know, well, if it's Abraham meet Melchizedek, who's Abraham and who is Melchizedek? And that obviously comes with, I would say, a strong religious background. I will use the term religious, meaning that, of course, remember, Melchizedek is a high priest, not just of Salem. Melchizedek is the high priest of the Most High. Melchizedek is like a God character, you know. Christ himself was after the order of Melchizedek. In fact, all the Melchizedeks, you know, enough of them don't name Melchizedek. Melchizedek don't mean his name is Melchizedek. Melchizedek is an order. It's an ancient priesthood, and it is a spirit that comes through, you know. So give thanks to those of us who are of the order of Melchizedek as we speak. But of course, you got to radiate to your full godhood to be any Christ or any Melchizedek even in this time. So that's where we're going to go. Remember, it's the 21st day of April, family. Remember, tonight, I just want to keep reminding you, we're going to have a marvelous Tiger's Nest tonight, starting at 7 p.m. sharp. You know, not 7:15, not 7:30. Don't come in at 7:45 hours and say, oh, yes, I'm early. No, you're not. That means a lot would have been passed already. It's 7 p.m. sharp, the Tiger's Nest. Of course, that's Radio Anu. And of course, you definitely can become a subscriber. And that's another thing. That's another thing. We've been speaking about the program we're going to do tonight for a moment. I was surprised, even right here in Antigua, to be coming across people that say, boy, hey, remember, I have to work so-and-so at that time, man. I keep missing that program there. You have to do something so we can hear the program. I say, hey, I don't know, maybe I'm not clear enough, family. Listen to me. Listen to your brother. The Tiger's Nest radio program is a program that comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It is approximately an hour long. It usually goes an hour 10 and an hour 15 minutes. You know, very few times it goes into the 2-hour bracket. Tonight might be one of them 2-hour brackets, depending on the energy. Okay, fair enough. You can be a subscriber to the Tiger's Nest. To be a subscriber doesn't mean you get a chance to hear it. You know, anyone can hear the Tiger's Nest. You don't have to pay a cent to listen to the Tiger's Nest. It's on a radio, and please bear with the Tiger. Bear with the Tiger. I just want to be clear. Everyone don't catch up the same speed. Just bear with the Tiger. This is a program that comes every evening, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Like tonight, the 21st of April, we will be on at 7. Good. on Radio Anu, by the way, Radio Anu International. That is on the Priest Isaac Institute.com. That's the website. All right. Now, I am saying to the family, when you become a subscriber to the Tiger's Nest, you will receive the previous evening's program during the morning. You will receive it in your inbox, obviously via the email. So in other words, when you become a subscriber, you don't have to worry about anything. The Tiger's Nest is coming to you each and every day. So if you missed it the night before, I just want to be clear. If you missed it the night before, the Tiger's Nest will be in your email the next day, at least by the next day. You know, maybe by midnight, you already have it there when we already record. And of course, the broadcast is sealed and saved and everything. So you don't have to miss the Tiger's Nest at all. I just want to be clear. So if you subscribe today, then, for example, the program tonight that you think you may miss, you definitely will be getting it from you subscribe. The next program, you start to get the Tiger's Nest. You understand? But here, because it seems like some people were not sure, and I just want to make sure everybody gets this clear, right? If you subscribe, I'm going to give it until Sunday. If you subscribe to the Tiger's Nest between today and Sunday, and I mean, people subscribe to the Tiger's Nest every day, you know, but I think maybe my message is not too clear. So if you subscribe between today, the 21st day of April, and let's say the ending of Sunday, which will be the 25th or the 24th, somewhere thereabout. Okay, so tomorrow, yeah, Sunday will be the 24th, just doing some counting in my head. If you subscribe before the 24th, I will make sure that you get the previous 2 weeks, 2 strongs of the Tiger's Nest. That's almost like getting half of the Tiger's Nest month free. So once you subscribe, remember, you know, when you subscribe, you start to get the Tiger's Nest from your subscription. And we may put a few things in there too. We show a lot of love. We show a lot of love, eh? Trust me. But what I'm saying now, if any one of you subscribe today, the 22nd, 23rd, up to the 24th, what we will do, we will send you the 2 strongs prior, plus begin your program wherever you start. You understand? So I mean, you can miss. And remember, you know, the Tiger's Nest is extremely inexpensive. Each one of these programs, we work it out, you know, come down to like about 27 cents per program. So it's all about brotherly love and encouraging the work. And remember, the revenue from the Tiger's Nest, we have declared this to our congregation, is what we use to make sure the platform of Radio Anu and the Priest Isaac's Institute stays afloat. We're very disciplined in that. You just got to believe me. So literally subscribing to the Tiger's Nest more than anything else, more than buying a book, more than coming to any lecture or whatever we have. Literally subscribing to the Tiger's Nest is actually, in a sense, a contribution to make sure that the international radio and the website stays afloat. You know, I mean, whether or not it's staying afloat, you know. But of course, we deal with communal brotherly love as an example. So this is why we're transparent. I mean, if we come here and tell you exactly what's going on and what we're doing and everything thereabout, you know, this is a nation building project. Nation building, we're building, and this is like the educational wing. I don't want to diss no one, you know, but I know we all like to talk about, oh, we need to get together and, you know what I mean, everybody need to do what they have to do and all of this talking there. Education is a key part of a kingdom, you know, and as you could see, we have made sure we have structured education. We have an international homeschool program for children, which is growing. We have lecture series on specific topics that are key for even us as adults. And the Tiger's Nest nightly program is a university setting, a family. So give thanks. That's why we could actually offer a subscription for it. It's something worth getting and saving in your archives. So order today, family. And remember, you have a monthly subscription, you have a 6-month subscription, and you have a yearly subscription. And it is when you take the year package, which is much, much less, where you get in the program for like cents, ding, 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 cents per day. So definitely, you know what to do. Just email us, priestIsaacInstitute@gmail.com, priestIsaacInstitute@gmail.com. And hey, even if you're not missing the Tiger's Nest, you should still subscribe to the Tiger's Nest. What do you say? Yeah, that's just my opinion there. Yeah, family, give thanks. So that's tonight. We're going to be going into the whole aspect of the book of Exodus. And you know of the story of the Passover, I'm sure. And when when God came into the land of Egypt in the thick, dark clouds. And for those of you who were listening to the after party last night, I'm talking about after the live Tiger's Nest. If you notice, I reran a program with Brother Asa Imhotep, those of you who are listening. And what was he talking about? He was talking about the volcano god and how God is linked to the volcano from the ancient African tradition as well. And the thick darkness and the thick clouds that, you know, is related to the whole God vibes and the God figure. So listen, I know tonight we're going to be going into this in depth. We're actually linking all these programs into one. So even what we're speaking about now is a part of the whole collaboration of what we will be expressing this evening. And we are highlighting, of course, Abraham meet Melchizedek, the 21st day of April. We're talking about 1966. So by now, for sure, ones will have an idea of what the whole 21st day of April is all about. 420, 421. And even tonight, I'm going to get deeper into that, because remember, 420 as such is a day of sacrificing. And remember the 421, which is today, is symbolic of a sacrifice. Remember when the Lord came over Egypt in 421? Oh man, I'm going to show you it full tonight. They had to sacrifice the lamb. It was those who were sealed with the blood of the lamb on their posts that was saved when the Lord passed through Egypt on 421, which is today. You understand? And even the scripture itself highlights that. And that will be one of the points we will highlight too as well this evening. But as far as the Abraham meet Melchizedek, you know, as Bobo Shanti, this is how we refer to the meeting of the Honorable King Emmanuel and Emperor Haile Selassie I. Now, of course, this is a very deep coming together here, and it has different layers. This is why we could look at it from a theological perspective, and Abraham and Melchizedek and all of that. And this is why we can look at it on a diplomatic perspective as well. And we can talk about the whole connection with the Honorable King Emmanuel and the United Nations and the world heads of state. I mean, Emperor Haile Selassie I, you know, outside of Haile Selassie hearing about the Rastaman and all of these different things. Remember, Rastafari has a diplomat, as Brother Flacco referred to him as our first politician. And you know, be careful with the word politician. Let's not lose the context of it. You know, we're not talking about voting an election. We're talking about a man that approached the policies of the government and the policies that they ran the country on and the whole international community. And he showed them the policy of freedom, redemption, and international repatriation in all his diplomacy. You know, even how he approached the king and his garments and the black glove, the symbol of diplomacy. So many different things taking place here. Remember, King Emmanuel is not just the Queen of England, the man, right? The man would have written to the Emperor of Ethiopia. When you go through the Black Supremacy, you see the letter that King Emmanuel would have written to Emperor Haile Selassie I. Different heads of states whether they come to Jamaica or not. So that that diplomatic example for us of responding and corresponding to heads of state is something that Prince Emmanuel is known for. So I'm just saying that in the context that the gathering and the meeting between both individuals is not just a biblical talk. It's not just a religious, outlook, and obviously it's historical. So it's not a guess. It's historical. We ain't gonna say, boy, it really happened, but it is very, it becomes a part of the history of international politics. Yes, it becomes a part of diplomacy. That is why we can reason on it and discuss it on that level. So in the shrewdness of the emperor too, and his wise mind and understanding, he himself, I know he knew exactly what he was saying when he told I that tell Jamaica to send the right people. But even we the right people, I think we missing some screws, and we really dropped the ball in many different ways, I'm telling you. So there's a strong importance for the visitation specifically of King Haile Selassie. And understanding again the diplomacy of it, understanding the spiritual aspect of it, and even looking at it in prophecy. You see, the Abraham meet the Melchizedek is this. We know of the story in the book of Genesis, where Abraham had the slaughter of the kings. You know that story. Okay, good. And he was fighting the different kings, and he went and ransomed Lot. You see, you have to understand the whole vibes. Even the name Lot, when you hear the name Lot itself, I don't know nobody named Lot. The first Lot I ever hear one is the Lot in the Bible. I'm not saying somebody don't name Lot. And I'm sure they have people named Lot. The fact that a biblical person's name is Lot, I'm positive there are lots around the place, lots of lots, But Lot usually tends to come in the realms of, position and ownership, or like a plot, and even land and these different things. And Lot was the individual that Abraham, basically his nephew, as the story would tell you, that he went out to save. And of course, he had to come across some enemies, and he destroyed the enemies. This is what the scripture referred to as the slaughter of the kings. You following? Good. So after this slaughter of the kings and saving Lot, which is to me symbolic of his possession, his people, the Lot, the ransom captive. But let's stick to the story. After saving Lot and his people and his family out, he came and met the high priest of God, the high priest of Salem, the high priest of peace. But let us look at it now as the high priest of God, Melchizedek, who blessed him, bread and wine, the fullness. And it is said that Abraham gave Melchizedek 1/10 of the spoil. What does that mean? Because I know we like to repeat things, but what does it really mean? It means the spoil of war is whatever Abraham would have caught. And in them reasoning, the spoil does include sheep and animals, livestock in general, food and grains and women and children, all of that in the spoil. Yeah, man. And according to what the scripture said, Abraham would have given Melchizedek 1/10 of all that he would have had, and declare that he is, the high priest of the Almighty God. Now, an individual would look at that, and of course, and I would say from a religious outlook. The mind is already fashioned to see these two people here, Abraham and Melchizedek, in ranks. You may not really have ever even taken the time to sit down to see who's had and who, because somehow it would have already registered in your mind that Melchizedek is the higher being. You never really studied it too deep, you know. But then now, when the both of them say that Abraham meet Melchizedek, yeah? So who is Abraham? Haile Selassie symbolizes the Abraham, and King Emmanuel is the symbol of Melchizedek in this arena here. Yeah. But brother, Melchizedek is the high priest of God, you know. Remember, Melchizedek higher than Abraham. You know? Abraham had to come and give Melchizedek 1/10 of the spoil. Yeah, I understand what you're saying there. Now, I don't know if anyone could recall the program that we did, again, sending you back to listen to the program, but this wasn't too long ago. I think this was about a month and a half ago. We did a program on King Emmanuel talking about Abraham. You remember that program, don't you? You should check it out, King Emmanuel and Abraham. Just type that in and type in my name, the video will come up. When we were listening to him speak, and he was saying, Abraham, no, he was giving the story of Genesis 18, when the Lord met Abraham in the fields of Mamre. You know that story, right? Just before they went and dust Sodom and Gomorrah and the surrounding cities, according to the Psalm. You remember that? So good. And Abraham and God sat and talked. And what King Emmanuel was doing, follow me good, eh? What King Emmanuel was doing, he was somewhat portraying both sides. He was being the Abraham, and he was still being the Lord talking to Abraham. So that's when the Lord was saying, all right, Abraham, if I go down and I find 6, I say this. And then Abraham came in, but supposing I find 6, my Lord, what will happen? My Abraham, you remember that? Good, all right. I don't want to bore you with that, but you can go back and check the video. But the point is that what he was doing in his own joy and his expression to his congregation and to all of us in general here in the future, he was playing the part of both Abraham and God. And I found that mystic in his cultural expression. But what I found also mystic is that, as I said, in the ancient art, Abraham and God always look like twins. That's a part of the crafting. From a fella painting Abraham and God and they don't look alike, that means he don't understand the secret. I've seen it in Ethiopian art and in European art, wherein God, so you see God in the cloud talking to Abraham, because remember, God was the friend of Abraham. That's Abraham's friend. And God in the cloud, you know how it is, talking to Abraham with his arms open, and Abraham looking up, talking to God, and two of them look exactly alike. Let me show you the science again, family. As I mentioned, when you look at the portraits of Christ and the 12 disciples, there's always a disciple in there. Again, this has to do with if the artist understands the craft. If any old body gonna paint a picture of Christ and his disciples, even if he's a real good artist and he don't understand that there's a esoteric science in all of this, he will not paint Thomas looking exactly like the Christ. But in the esoteric world, Thomas is supposed to look exactly like the Christ. So when you paint a picture of Christ and his disciples, they're supposed to be a disciple that is just the exact image of the Christ. Thomas, it's a part of the science family. It's a part of the craft. Them things is some hidden craft and science and secret messages. You know? When people go out of the realms, it's become watered down. Because it goes with the storyline. Thomas Didymus is twin. That's why he was called the twin of Christ, even in them stories that they rip out of the Bible that they don't want you to read. Many times they buck up on Thomas and say, but wait, is not you the Christ? No. And this gives a lot of meditation to the fact that Thomas was the one, according to the story, that denied the Christ was resurrected. Remember that one? Remember everybody come and say, hey, Thomas, the man raised up, we see him. Thomas said, nah, man, nothing goes up. I have to see with my eyes. You understand? His look-alike, his mirror image, it's deep. And some people come down on Thomas for that, Oh, Thomas was the doubting one. But read the story good. When Christ appeared to the disciples, Thomas was not there. Interesting. When Christ appeared to his disciples, his look-alike, the person that resembles him the most, look like his twin, was not around. Very interesting. And then when he left, Thomas came. I sound like a Superman Clark Kent kind of thing. But what I'm saying is that though, listen, no, but what I'm saying is that we blame Thomas for denying, but Thomas wasn't there. Let's assume Mark wasn't there. And then Mark came after. You don't think he would have denied it? Let's say Matthew or Levi was there. And then he came after the Messiah left. I'm sure he would be questioning the reality of what they were saying. Or any one of the other disciples, even the James and the John. Let's just assume when the risen Christ met the disciples, they weren't there, and then they appeared after he left. They themselves may have been, boy, Yeshua? Yes, we sure it's Yeshua that was here. So I'm just showing you now that there's a science in this. So in the same way that Thomas would resemble the Christ, for whatever scientific reason in the allegory, it's the same way that Abraham would look just like the Almighty in them Old Testament paintings there from them ancient times, even in Ethiopia. Good. Now, what that says to me, it gives credence to this concept that many characters, or some of the characters, I should say, in the Bible are literally God figures, not just types of Christ, God figures. Noah is one of them God figure. Like Noah is a God. Like Noah is God. Noah is the God of the story. But somehow we painted like a little nursery rhyme. I mean, this old man there in the desert and wearing some long dusty clothes with some sheep around him, and God told him to build a boat and get 2 of every animal and put it in the boat. So it gone into a kind of fable, different realms, and the rain came down and all of that. Nice story. I ain't got no problem with the story. That's how we speak in African tongue. That's a good story. Ain't nothing wrong with the story. Is there something wrong with us? It was supposed to be written so, but it's a story about creation. Noah now, net the new is the no, the new the Noah. Yeah, the Nuank, Noah's Ark, the ship, the boat, the animals, creation, the world flooded and replenished the earth. Noah represents God. Allah is the greatest Noah. In the same way, King Emmanuel teaches Moses is God and God is Moses. So Moses, although you read the story, Moses is like a baby in the ark, all of that is simple to show he's a God. No, Moses never go in the ark. Who put much? Oh, you stupid no joke. Oh, yeah, I know somebody would say that, ready to type it to it. Hear what this clown said. Moses was a little baby inside the ark. I can prove him wrong. Moses was the one that built the ark when he was over 40. Take your time. Take your time. The Bible clearly says that when Moses was born,
he was placed in an ark, A-R-K. I didn't say the Ark of the Covenant with the 10 Commandments. He was placed in an ark. That's the language we get. Didn't say he was placed in a basket. Somebody giving you a water basket to carry water there. He said he was placed in an ark. The book says he was placed in an ark and sent up the river. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying that the symbol of the ark. And of course, give thanks for those of you in the front of the class, real students. I think it was less than a year ago, we did a whole online lecture on the ark. How many of you were there? Give thanks, man. Give thanks. You know, I really appreciate it. Those who take this teaching seriously. Trust me, whether I know you or not, because I understand the value of what is said and what could be said. Because sometimes you have to be careful what you say. I'm talking about myself. It's enough things in a man, but it's as if we don't really appreciate and understand it. The ark, family, is the symbol of God. So when it says Moses was placed in the ark as a baby, didn't say no basket now. Well, you see, we listening for the storyline, not the meaning and the moral of the storyline. You know, so we're taught that Moses, M-O-S-E-S, Moses. We're taught that Moses is God, and God is Moses. Allah is the greatest Noah. Noah is God. If that sounds too harsh for you, okay. In the Noah story, he is the symbol of the God figure. Oh, that work with you? All right, good. It's the same thing with Abraham. Abraham is a God figure. Don't make the cartoons and the little old flying house and the speaking Bible and all of these things that we used to watch confuse you, because those things stay in the mind. That is why I clearly showed you that Abraham and God look like twins, because Abraham is a God figure. The science, I tell you, the science of the brain, the cerebrum or cerebrum is like Sarai and Brahm. And remember, Brahm in the Hindu tradition is the same Brahma, and Brahm became Brahma after he created. You know that. Brahm is Abram. Remember, Abraham's name is Abram. Is Brahm just with a A? Abram. And then, and in the Hindu tradition, Brahm became Brahma. Abram became Abraham. Just shuffle the words around. So the Abram character throughout different cultures is the same Brahm. It's the same Brahm. That's why Abraham, you know, Abraham gave birth to Isaac, which don't take the Isaac character simply, you know, because Isaac is directly connected to the Christ, the Isa. That's why Isaac, I-S-A, that's the name of Christ there, you know, Isa already. That's why he was the one to be sacrificed on Mount Moriah, but the lamb was put there instead. So Abram, which is Bram, and his wife Sarah, which is Seri, or Seri, and Bram is the cerebrum, is the main part of the brain. The brain, what we call the brain, is the cerebrum, the male and female, left and right hemisphere. It's deep science. Man, if you can even decode the Bible by how it's written in the Hebrew, depending on the Old Testament, you can see there's enough science in it. Enough things to be decoded. So the point is, with all of that, that the Abraham character is a God figure. He's not a second-class person. So now when Abraham meets Melchizedek, it's two gods standing there. In fact, in the book of Daniel brings that allegorical story up to speed. Daniel chapter 7, again, for our students. We just went through this not too long ago.
I beheld until what? Anyone can tell me? I have to speak to you like how I speak to my homeschool classes. Come on, somebody tell me. I beheld until the thrones were cast down. We just covered that about a month ago. So this should be fresh in the memory. When we were speaking about Daniel chapter 2 and Daniel chapter 7, the dream of Nebuchadnezzar and the vision of Daniel. You with me, I'm sure. Of course, Nebuchadnezzar, the body parts of the gold and the silver, iron and clay. And of course, Daniel with the lion and the leopard with the heads, 4 heads and 4 wings, and the bear with the ribs in its mouth, and the beast with the 10 horns and 3 of the horns plucked up, and the little horn pluck up the 3 horns. The beast may not have been in the exact order there a moment ago. The bear comes after the lion, and before the leopard, then the beast. And of course, these are the different kingdoms from Babylon to Medo-Persia to Greece to Rome. We showed you the division of Rome, all the kingdoms. We gave you a list of kingdoms. Remember that program? We gave you a list of kingdoms. I think we ran into and sub-kingdoms. Europe have kingdoms, no joke. Gone into not dozens, gone into the scores of kingdoms. Where are they today? Within a matter of a couple of decades, they just disappear. And we were putting history together to show you that even as Daniel says, he beheld until all the thrones were cast down. And then the Ancient of Days, they sit. Now, we're not going to go into the depths of that, but I think we did that program. We did justice to the program to give a clear understanding. And you should revisit that if you're really serious and you don't know what I'm talking about. We did a program like a month ago entitled Until the Thrones Were Cast Down. From you check that. You clearly understand what we're talking about as it relates to Haile Selassie I from the time of World War I. Even from the time he became Deshmark, and when Italy was attacking during the Battle of Adwa, you already saw the thrones being cast down from Russia and Germany, the thrones being cast down, World War I, bam, bam, more thrones being cast down, World War II, man, bring the bulldozer, the thrones being ushered out. Then they talk about 1963, the Organization of African Unity. Yeah. The Ancient of Days, Father of Africa, they sit. And then remember, it goes on to say, and in the night vision, which is this, one like unto the Son of Man. This is Daniel again, chapter 7, about verse 9 going into verse 13. One like unto the Son of Man, 7, 9, and 13. Check them. One like unto the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and he was brought unto the Ancient of Days. You have to understand the storyline. I hope I don't sound like I'm just rushing it through, and boy, he lost me there. But you see, this is why you can't just take an hour and try to, plug the world into an hour. That's why we do series. That's why this is a serious thing, series are serious. That's why I am referring to programs I would have done before, because I know, what I'm explaining in 5 minutes has been broken down properly in an hour and a half. And hoping that those that, follow us properly, that's why I tell you, subscribe, man. Subscribe. There's no game when you come to play. Subscribe. No whole heap of nothing to subscribe. It's pennies. If you really appreciate the work, you say no talking and oh yeah, good vibe, no good nothing. Subscribe. You understand? And really follow up and get all the information as we go along. Because this is deep. This is deep. You understand? Then there's a next level, it's 2 Melchizedeks you're looking at there, Because the prophecy of Melchizedek said that there will come a time when 2 Melchizedek shall be there. That's it. Look at there. That's the fulfillment of the mysteries of Melchizedek. That is it. For those of you who have a copy of that book, The Mystery of Melchizedek, when he said 1 Melchizedek shall leave the east and come to the west and meet the next Melchizedek who was living in the hill for 7 years. Even the maths. It's a full 7 years, really going into the 8th year. since the Congress was formed, right there. Since the Congress was formed in the late 50s. Yeah, actually gone into the 8th year at that time. Coming off of the full 7 years. Full 7 years. So when that prophecy says that one Melchizedek, the king, shall leave the east and come to the place where the Ark of Noah is, that's what it is, you know. In the west, where he shall meet another Melchizedek. That's it there, 2 Melchizedeks. So there's that prophecy that says 2 Melchizedeks shall meet. Look it there. And one of them shall be a high priest who was living in the hills for 7 years. Look him there. And it is the same Ancient of Days. Remember what happened? You know, the thrones were cast down. What happened in the Abraham story? He was coming from the slaughter of the kings. Now, the Abraham story is a story, you know, so you see him coming on the horse, he and the army just done slaughter the kings. Yes, that's how it's written. But this is the fulfillment of it. Because remember, at this time, 1966, you know, that's why you have to understand history. How long since World War II gone? At least, you know, 30 years, 25 years since World War II done, World War I, maybe 40 years, you know, from the time of the coronation of the king in 1930, you know, and even his Jubilee celebration, 1955, left the world in an awe. And again, all those who stand up against him, the thrones were cast down. And the Ancient of Days did sit with a free, united Africa around him. You understand? At the visit in 1963, remember NBC, Miss Frederick asking the king if white people can stay in Africa. That alone shows you the kind of mentality that the world had in 1963 towards Haile Selassie. President Kennedy clearly tell him, we're not gonna have nobody else come here that give us as much pride and satisfaction as your presence here with us today, Your Majesty. That's what Kennedy says. You know, a month after he was gone, or less than a month, he was gone. The emperor returned for his funeral. The emperor was the chief statesman at Kennedy's funeral. You know, the emperor was the man in front. President de Gaulle and some of them fellas had to flank the King of Kings. I beheld until all the thrones were cast down. And the Ancient of Days did sit. Nobody can run with that title. Now try not. Who? Jesus? It was a foolishness there. And then came one in the night vision with the clouds of heaven. And he came before the Ancient of Days. And he was given dominion and power and a kingdom. Man, I tell you, that's how we know that this kingdom here, the our kingdom, we may be taking it for a joke. Divinely blessed by the Most High. Then now, again, I return in to the Abraham story. It's the same vibration where Abraham, maybe in that story, Abraham was not a Melchizedek. I ain't fighting that. But this is the cycle repeating itself. It doesn't always come the same way, but it has the same theme. So Abraham came and gave homage to the Melchizedek, coming from the slaughter of the kings, after securing the lot, and gave him 1/10 of the spoil. It's the same vibes with the Ancient of Days, coming before the Son of Man, or the Son of Man coming before the Ancient of Days, and be given the kingdom and power and dominion. It's the same prophecy of Melchizedek meeting Melchizedek. The one coming from the east, meeting the one who was in the hills for 7 years and proclaiming him the high priest. I do dare say it's the same prophecy of Negajuna, the Negus Negas Negajuna, who came and met the Shanti Diva, you know, the King Emmanuel Shanti Diva, the Bobo Shanti Diva, yeah, and proclaimed him the priest according to the ancient Hindu Buddhist tradition. And it is the same 1966, when the Emperor of all, Haile Selassie I, visited Jamaica. And of course, 21st day of April, such fulfillment again, when he gave 31 medals, let's not forget that, to 31 members of Rastafari. And as I said, this is all somewhat of a prep for the reasoning that we will be having this evening. Yeah. In the Tiger's Nest. So I hope you are there. And again, family, even if you're not going to be there, as I said at the beginning of the program, you know, it is a simple thing for you to become a subscriber. And once you subscribe between now and 24th, I'll give it until Sunday. You know, usually when you subscribe, you start to get the program from the next program. But anyone that subscribed from today to the 24th, I'll make sure you get the two strongs prior of the Tiger's Nest radio program. So you got enough things to listen to over the weekend, enough vibes, enough information, enough of what you've already missed. You understand? And remember, the Tiger's Nest is like 27 cents a program. I don't know what it is would be holding you back from that 20-something cents a program. If you take a year package, you understand, you have a monthly package, you have a 6 months package, and you have the yearly package. So just contact us today. Contact us now. Don't wait till later. Now they're gonna, contact us right now for sure. But whatever the case is, I'm looking for. Looking forward to your presence this evening. Make sure you join us 7 p.m. sharp. We're definitely talking about the Tiger's Nest. Yes, Radio Anno, International Flavor, and the Universal Spice. So give thanks, my family. Once again, just reminding you, of course, remember the date is the 9th of May, 2020. Remember to make sure you get your, register your space for Redemption Healing presents Natural Childbirthing Workshop. Of course, virtual edition. Definitely come and learn the art of giving birth. And of course, remember, this is again the 9th of May, the 2022, specifically from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., facilitated and presented by the Honorable Empress Naya, certified international doula. And remember, certificate of attendance will be distributed after this wonderful event. It is only $50. And of course, if you reserve your space before the 2nd of May, of course, it will be only $35. Wonderful. Definitely myself looking forward to that. And I would hope each and every one of you will be looking forward to that. Also, this is a part of our nation building family, understanding the importance of bringing forth life in a natural way. And of course, in a holistic manner, getting away from the way that they have taught us to do this stuff. Jim passed the scissors, we're gonna rip her open. Yeah, family, looking forward to your presence this evening. Of course, life giver and the keeper of life. And of course, yes, you can definitely make your payments via the CashApp or the PayPal. And of course, the link for such is in the description below. All right, family, love to each and every one. And again, looking forward to your presence this evening. The Tiger's Nest. All right. Holy Manuel, Selassie, Jah Rastafari. Blessed.